Okay, welcome back to Battle of the All-Stars 2018 here in beautiful Hatfield, Pennsylvania, live from Inline 309, brought to you by New England Derby Report. We're bringing you the Canadian National Anthem, sang by none other than Team Saskatchewan.
From far and wide of Canada and on our God keep our land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Beautifully sung by Team Saskatchewan. My name is Beautiful Banshee, voice of Massachusetts, joined by none other than the wonderful Deathnella of Team Saskatchewan.
Thank you. I'm really excited to be here today and work with you, Banshee.
Yeah, we're going to have a great time, and we are in now the third game. Or
Yes,
no,
third. Fourth game of the
we're
day.
in the fourth game of the day.
It's moving fast.
I know, and because the games are condensed in the first day down to 30 minutes, we'll have two 15-minute halves with a very brief halftime. But what better than to jump right into the roller derby action?
Starting on the jam line for Team Saskatchewan, we have number 201, Curb Stomping Coleshaw.
Coleshaw is up against 221. Yet or not, here I come. Lead going to Team Massachusetts as the pack keeps it slow between turns 1 and 2. Lots of pendulum hitting as our Saskatchewan jammer works through the pack.
Yeah, Curb's on her way around right now. And that's the jam.
Quick call off from Yeti. And why don't we introduce everyone to our teams?
Yeah, I think that sounds great. So for Saskatchewan, we have number 15, Scott Free. We have Gotham, Abolisher, Loch Ness Monster, Nikki Fury. Of course, we just saw her, Curb Stomping Coleshaw, Makilia, Melkery, Nemesis, Pterodactyl, Holly Double Thumper, Bellicose Blonde, Terralizer, and Rocket Richard.
Okay, we are getting ready for Jam 2. That would be Don't Lam Me Down, formerly known as Lammy Adder, and Remy Lammy, familiar Gumby-like jammer force out there picking up lead for Team Massachusetts.
Meanwhile, Nikki Fury not far behind for Team Saskatchewan.
A little bit of speed in the pack, taking them on that back stretch into turn 3 with just a little bit more speed, a quick hop, skip, and a jump over an opposing blocker. Don't Let Me Down calls it, picking up 4. And we are just a few minutes in, I think a minute and a half actually, and it is 4-0 Team Massachusetts, 0 Saskatchewan.
Just a little hop over Holly Double Thumper there.
Sometimes you have to do that.
Yes.
And it was so gracefully done.
It really was.
13 minutes, 15 seconds left in the first period.
And as we know, our teams are comprised of many skaters from their states or provinces. In the case of Don't Let Me Down, she hails from Western Mass Roller Derby. And out there right now, 3-1-3-0 Peaches and Cremia hailing from Boston Roller Derby with lead for Team Massachusetts.
And she's up against Gotham from Saskatchewan. She hails from Saskatoon. Just joined our senior league. She is a younger skater and came up through the junior ranks.
See, the future is in junior derby.
We're seeing that so much more as well.
Okay, Peaches and Cremia making quick work down that straightaway before turn 1. Puts 5 on the tally for Massachusetts. And again, if you're just joining us, Team Massachusetts in red, Team Saskatchewan in black. I believe we had a low block call, and that was on Bella Labral of Team Mass. That's the pivot.
And there was a star pass we had from Gotham to Bellicose Blonde.
Well, they snuck that right in. And I just wanted to point out, too, regarding penalties, we had talked about this off mic. Now, because of the shorter, or I should say the abbreviated games in day one, just 2 15-minute periods, 30 minutes of gameplay, the maximum penalties accrued in order to foul out of the game is 4. So they're accounting for roughly every 10 minutes you could essentially end up with a penalty, which of course most of our skaters would prefer not to, but we know these things happen. And a quick score check, we are at 23, Team Massachusetts, 0 Saskatchewan, and we are in Jam 3.
Right now, Abolisher holding up the Massachusetts blocker.
And that is
jammer.
Cosmo Kramer, who was fighting against that very strong 2-wall in front, but able to evade just barely the Saskatchewan jammer, forcing the call off. Excellent strategy.
Curb is known for that chase down. If she doesn't get lead, she is on you.
Ah, okay. So now we know she's
Gets a little
hungry.
bit of fire in her eyes. You can see it.
A jammer who eats other jammers for breakfast.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Okay, and I'd like to introduce to you Team Massachusetts, 109 Bella LeBrawl, 14 Kelly Cooper, 1920 Malice Paul, 2 Pena Colida, 207 Cruliette Lewis, 221 Yeti or Not, Here I Come, 26 Reckless Rehab, 3130 Peaches and Creamia, 341 Enraging Grace, 4 Scaro, 45 Caliber, 47 Stone Cold Killer, and 603 Cosmo Kramer, and 999 Don't Lay Me Down. They are coached by Alex and Obstinate. But back to the game in progress.
Team Saskatchewan, Nikki Fury lead jammer and picked up points, the first for Team Saskatchewan of the game. And that's a full handful there, 5 now on the board.
Not too shabby, 5 minutes in, and Saskatchewan is up against Massachusetts, able to fend for themselves. Gotta love those 5 points.
That's a really historic moment that we just witnessed there. That's also the first points for Canada ever at Battle of the All-Stars, because we are indeed the first Canadian team to ever be playing in this tournament.
Oh, that's fantastic. Okay, that is Don't Lay Me Down. Tiptoeing up the inside line, picking up lead, able to get about a half lap up against the Saskatchewan jammer.
And that's Gotham coming through.
A brief pile up right after turn 1.
And one thing you couldn't see on camera, but Gotham puts her hands up and says, I got out. There are so many goals that we have as a team because of the fact that we get to play against teams we've never faced before and at a much higher level.
Exactly. And I think that, for everyone participating in this event, it's great because even with abbreviated games, you're able to really work on those small goals. So even if it's not necessarily a point differential, it could be whatever you're able to accomplish that you've set out. And definitely a great way to look at the experience.
And a big hit by Abolisher for Team Saskatchewan.
Yeah, and that was on Peaches and Creamer, the jammer for Team Massachusetts, taken to the outside. Meanwhile, we have lead going to Saskatchewan. That would be Curb Stomper, right?
Yeah,
all
Curb
right.
Stomp and Coleshaw getting that lead I know she was looking for. Nice agile skating, fancy footwork there, and calls it off to collect 4 points.
This is a sweet little one-footed turn.
That is her signature, so we'll probably be seeing a little bit more of that. She does have a figure skating background, and she also came up through the junior ranks and now coaches the Saskatchewan Junior Roller Derby League.
Oh, see? So many talents on a myriad of levels.
And she's the reason I joined Derby as well. So
excellent. Well, I am glad for that. All right, know what else I am glad for? The fact that we have an empty penalty box. And we have just over 7.5 minutes left in our first period here. And we have some great blocking in the front of the pack, a little bit of amoeba work from Team Massachusetts, but it is not enough to hold back Nikki. But that's okay. Cosmo Kramer able to keep a quarter lap distance in front of her with lead.
And that's all you need. She skated by Terralizer and Holly Double Thumper there. this really will be a great way to enhance the blocking strategies for Team Saskatchewan. Playing against a team like this has got a storied history and knows what they're doing. Very comfortable out there.
It's interesting because there are many veteran members of Team Massachusetts with some new additions. This year's new additions being new to Team Massachusetts, not necessarily roller derby. Longtime veteran in Raging Grace. She had been with New Hampshire roller derby for many years, and then she is currently with Mass Attack, has been for a few seasons now. And then you have someone on the other end of that, Stone Cold Killa, for example, from Mass Attack. This is maybe her second or third season, first on Team Mass. So it's really great to see what everyone brings to the table.
And Gotham still trying to work her way through on her initial trip through the pack there for Team Saskatchewan.
Bella Labral managing the braced 2-wall. Cooper taking it back into turn 2, keeping Gotham back. Tripod able to bring Gotham to the floor. Pack is stretched down the straightaway into turn 3. Well, getting things a little closer now. Yeti or not, here I come, adding 5 to the total. And I just want to sing that, though, like the Fuji song, the Ready or Not, Here I Come.
Yes.
Like, Yeti or not, here I come. You can't hide. She's going to find you.
Well,
and I will save you from the rest of that.
But she did find the hole through there, and now she's through another handful of points.
I'll save the rest of the karaoke for tonight. If there's an after party, we'll find out. Okay, we have Yeti hitting the floor on the apex of turn 3, taken out by Saskatchewan's defense, but able to evade them with a sidestep.
And it looks like that star pass that was hopefully trying to slow down Yeti or not, it didn't quite work just yet. Bellicose Blonde holding the star in her hand right now, trying to get through there. Of course, the pivot being the only other player on the track who can assume that jammer position. She's trying to start getting points for Team Saskatchewan.
And we had Malice Paul and Bella Labral working on our Saskatchewan pivot there in the back and putting the brakes on, doing a great job. 24 points up. I believe the highest scoring jam thus far for Team Mass, 55-9.
And that was that very first hit. Yes, that first hit on Gotham on turn 1 there. Kind of really knocked some of the momentum out, but this is great learning.
That's what I get for not looking at the replay. I was looking at the track. I'm sorry.
Derby is one of those events. You want to watch it live.
Squirrel? What? Yeah. But that's just it. We have so much to watch. Team timeout for Black.
And even though we have abbreviated games throughout the day, it is a full day of roller derby here.
It most definitely is. I mean, next up, we have New York versus Louisiana, followed by Pennsylvania and West Virginia matching up, and Colorado versus North Carolina. And I believe last one of the day, I'll find out. We may have more further down the page, but Michigan versus Maine. Lucky for me, I get to be a spectator for that one.
Oh yeah,
gotta.
We are going well into the night, so there will be.
I thought we had much longer because we have a total of 42 games. I heard this during this event, so we will be plenty busy.
And I know I want to mention as well. I know there's people watching in Canada right now, in Saskatchewan, but also across. And so if you are watching, thank you for tuning in.
Yes.
And I guess we'll apologize to your employers later that you're not actually working right now. But
what do you mean? We're working. I'm at my computer. I might have something minimized in the background, listening in, and then take a sneak peek. But what do I know? Not that I've ever done that before.
All right, and we're trying to get a new blocking technique. Ooh,
and an attempt for that big block coming from Saskatchewan's pivot, but that was Lemmy Adder able to sidestep so gracefully. I'm sorry, I meant don't let me down. Old habits die hard, Lemmy.
She's one of those players who just changes her name a little bit. That's like our Nikki Fury.
Oh, yes?
Yes, she's been every iteration of Nikki you could think.
That's awesome. You know what, though? I feel like the creativity matching the evolution of the skater, it's not such a bad thing. Add 5 for Don't Let Me Down.
Bellicose Blonde trying to get through, and she does. Just got to get through the last few blockers. Oh, big hit down. Of course, you got to watch out for those referees and those officials.
And that big hit that actually is taking Bella Close Blonde back into turn 4 was courtesy of Team Mass's pivot Caliber, another veteran member of Western Mass Roller Derby.
And that's what Scott Free was trying to do right off the top. And now Scott Free is causing some difficulty for the Massachusetts jammer there.
Pet currently in turn 2, keeping it nice and cozy. And that is Cruliette Lewis going to take Bellicose Blonde to the outside, but then we have no, I thought it was a star pass.
It is a star pass.
Oh, it is.
It appears.
Oh, but it appears the stripe came off? Or no? No, the star pass was not completed. I apologize.
That is why. Bella Close Blonde started as jammer. Yes, and took it off.
It was a stash. My mistake.
A stash for a possible star pass. And
now
what
what
that
the instant replay with.
There we go.
Don't Lay Me Down, bouncing and juking through the pack and evading the black pivot's hit. And you know, we have our officials with the GTO in the corner.
Our non-skating officials.
Yes, and it's a good thing that we didn't have any skater to official contact. She was able to avoid that. So good job, safe skating.
There we go. The difficulty Team Saskatchewan seems to be having right now is just staying together. So Pterodactyl and Abolisher trying to accomplish that there, did hold up the jammer for a little longer. Meanwhile, making a nice hole for Curb Stomp and Coleshaw to get right through and chase her down.
Peaches and Kramer able to go with a baby apex jump.
A little apex hop.
And quite effective, I might add. I believe we had 4 up for Peaches. All right, bringing Massachusetts to 77. 4 points in that jam, over 9 for Saskatchewan. We have a minute and a half left as we head into jam 12.
We've got Nikki Fury.
I didn't get the instant
Oh.
Taking on number 603, Cosmo Kramer in the next jam.
Now, someone you
us.
can actually see on screen right now is Kerr So Good. He's our official from Team Saskatchewan who came down as well with us.
Very nice. It's good to see the officials travel as well with their teams.
Kurz is one of the best in the world and has traveled to many tournaments, and he'll be going to Worlds again.
And we have a 33. That would be Nikki Fury taking lead for Saskatchewan.
This will be her second lead of the game. And we've only had 3 so far, so she's really pushing it for us here.
Yeah, increasing the lead percentage for Saskatchewan. Meanwhile, we have Cosmo Kramer, who has stashed the star for Team Mass, pushing up against a tripod of Saskatchewan blockers in turn 3, able to finally break through, but it took over a minute for Cosmo to do so. So Saskatchewan being quite effective in burning the clock.
And we picked Saskatchewan picked up 4 points for their efforts there. And for anyone watching at home, if you're wondering why a jammer might want to call off a jam, it's all strategy, right? You want to get through, collect your points, passing those opposing blockers, passing their hips, and then calling it off before the other jammer can get there. And the only one who can do that, of course, is the lead jammer.
And of course, that's their version of saying, nah, you can't have any points.
But just much more elegantly and classy.
Of course.
Because that is roller derby, elegance and class.
This looks so much cooler.
Yeah.
The little tap to the hip.
So Saskatchewan struggling to stay together as a blocking unit here, but working on it to try to free up Curb, Stomp, and Coleshaw. It is a power jam right now for Team Saskatchewan. And there was that backwards foot action that we saw earlier.
Yes, and definitely to her credit, lead and making progress. Pack is slowing down in the straightaway before turn 3 as both little Packlets are awaiting the jammer's arrival. Team Mass faced with Curb Stomper. Meanwhile, we have Yeti or Not, the Team Mass jammer, standing in the box.
A nice hit by Curb there. Jamming really is her bread and butter, but she has been working a lot on her blocking this year, so that was a very well executed hit.
Sometimes you have to use a little force coming through the pack. And those blocking skills definitely come in handy.
That's what makes her so exciting. She is so agile, just some toe stop work right there to get through and pick up 4 points. Looks like Massachusetts is through on their initial pass, but a little too late. So Saskatchewan puts up some more points. The score right now sits at 77-22 for Massachusetts.
And I believe that was the largest jam in the first half for Team Saskatchewan with the 9.
Definitely was, yeah.
Not too shabby. We'll be getting back very shortly as we take a quick break. Yes. Chad from Northeastern New England Derby Report is over here handling all the fantastic production things, and just asked me if I said Packlet. Yes, sir, I did. No shame in my game, Packlet.
So what's happening right now is also an abbreviated halftime. It's just a matter of having the jammer referees switch out their color bandanas, because that's what happens in roller derby. You'll have a jammer ref that follows one jammer for the first half, and then you switch normally. Normally halves are half an hour, but today, that's the game.
Exactly. We cut it down just a little for the sake to give you more bang for the buck, so to speak. You know, more derby per the minute.
Exactly.
I love it.
So, Banshee, can you tell me when Massachusetts will be playing next, or who they'll be playing next?
Well, that is a great question. I have to take a peek at the schedule, to be honest, because where we have so many games, many of us are calling different teams as well.
Definitely.
But I'll find out for you.
You're right.
I'm sorry.
I gave you a hard question.
It's not
there.
today. I know it will be
Oh,
tomorrow.
really?
This is the only game for Team Massachusetts.
Oh, there we go. Sorry, I assumed that they would be. There I am saying sorry.
I heard
So
you, but I didn't
Canadian.
want to point it out.
Oh boy.
No, you know what? I have great respect and admiration for Canadians. Well, you know, I have Canadian.
You used to have a Tim Hortons where you live.
Oh,
so.
well, okay. So before the games began today, or earlier during another game, I informed Ethanella of how envious I am that they have what I call Timmy Ho's, Tim Hortons, up in Canada. I'm a big fan of their coffee, more than anything else, and I am sad that the ones down in Mass are no longer in existence. But I hear that there's one in Connecticut, so I may have to seek it out.
Oh, there you go. A reason to go to Connecticut.
Exactly.
Oh.
But I want to say this. Oh. Don't pick on Connecticut. Oh, hey.
Oh, Chad says. Chad says.
Chad just said in Maine. Ooh. So maybe when I come up, I may be visiting Androscoggin sometime soon. I'll have to seek one out.
Or you can come to Saskatchewan, where the busiest Walmart, the busiest Tim Hortons in Canada is actually situated on our
Really?
highway. Yeah.
The busiest Tim Hortons. I need to see what that looks like. Okay,
It's insane.
that may have to be added to the travel list,
And
but I
you know-
digress.
Yeah, you know what's not insane? Nikki Furing getting lead again. That's her third one for the game, and the first to start off the second half.
And Don't Let Me Down is her opposition, wearing the star for Team Massachusetts. At a booty bump from Cruliette Lewis with the drawback from Pena Colada in tandem, able to force the call off from Saskatchewan.
And no one scored in that jam.
Goose eggs.
And I haven't even been focusing as much as I should be on the fantastic block work
Yes.
that is happening on both teams. And even for Team Saskatchewan, a lot of these women, I was telling Banshee earlier, they travel 6 hours to go to a practice. So whenever they get time to play together, it just makes them stronger. So this is really great developmental time.
Yeah, and I think that's something many folks can take for granted in the States. And I only say that because I live in a particular area where we're incredibly saturated with flat track roller derby, be it men's or women's. But check this out. Some excellent blocking, dropping from a tripod to a pair, working on Peaches and Cremia, able to take her to the outside after turn 2. But it appears we had an out-of-play block call on Saskatchewan's
on
blocker.
Melcree there, yes.
Yeah.
Just gave an extra little bump out of play. Ooh, a nice little apex jump there. Little or not, that picks up 5 points for Massachusetts.
Small yet powerful.
Yes.
And speaking of powerful, we're seeing the collective pick from the blocking force of Team Saskatchewan, able to go mid-straightaway and assist their jammer. It was a beautiful sweep, and I'm making huge hand gestures, and Chad's making fun of me on the side here.
One thing we didn't get to mention, though, is Team Saskatchewan. We had Makilia. That was her first jam. She has done a star pass now to Bellicose Blonde, who has received that star pass now about 3 times in the game.
14-point jam for Team Mass, bringing the score to 91-22.
So what we saw, Makilia, that was her first jam there of the game, but also she's new to Team Saskatchewan. She's one of the many in their first year on the team, and so she's growing and learning so much, and has been a big part of Saskatchewan roller derby for a long time. She plays out of Regina.
Oh, okay. Very good.
The city that rhymes with fun.
Yes. I like that. Okay, and speaking of the blockers out there, right up front, there is some force coming from Stone Cold Killer Cruelly at Lewis and Scaro.
Curb stomping Coleshaw gets through, grabs lead. She's moving fast.
She's about a half lap ahead of Cosmo Kramer.
She does a quick little sidestep around those blockers to pick up her points and calls it off.
And it seemed because of the push of what is it?
Curb stomping Coleshaw.
Coleshaw, because I just saw the back of her jersey and it looked like coleslaw, but I didn't want to say that. Thank you.
That is every announcer, though, ever. That's really, it is a tricky little one. So we just call her Curb.
Okay, great.
Yep.
Well, as Curb came off the track, I noticed right at Jam's end, the pack had picked up so much speed that it really started to disintegrate as it extended out, and it really just worked against both teams, but Curb laughed all the way to the scoreboard. Okay, back to the track.
Meanwhile, Nikki Fury picking up another lead jam of the game there. She just skated through 1 foot on the inside line to get through.
Don't act like you're not impressed. And speaking of impressed, that is Yeti or Not with the star from Team Mass. Pack picking up a great deal of speed in the straightaway now before turn 1. Team Mass going with the brace, Chuwal able to force the call off from Nikki Fury.
So 1 point for Nikki on that run. And that's the thing, she's getting lead, but she's also being very mindful of trying to just shut out Massachusetts from getting any more points.
Well, that's just it. Using the strategy of controlling things, stopping the bleeding, and building small gains, that is sometimes more effective than going for, say, okay, I'm going to run this jam, see if I can pick up 20, but guess what? If the opposing team gets 15, you're not making much headway.
And that's what you'll see in roller derby that's new, like new teams to roller derby. You'll see kind of that sort of play. But a lot of these ladies are veteran skaters.
And it's wonderful to see that new blood. And Don't Lay Me Down, your jammer for Team Massachusetts. Woo! With a quick little spin around the outside in the straightaway before turn 1.
Quick is definitely a word you can use for her.
Yes.
Oh, and she breaks through the arms of Melkery and Gotham there for Team Saskatchewan. Of course, you can't form an impenetrable link of the arms in roller derby. That is a penalty if you do. So you want to attack the arms and get right through.
And I know we've mentioned, Nella, how there are various sports backgrounds for our skaters.
Definitely.
Fun fact, I know that many of the Team Mass fans do know this, and other skaters, because they're friends with Lammy, that she has really unique workouts, and she's actually tried out for American Ninja Warrior.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Love that show.
So she does all the knee, I don't know the formal names, but the peg climbs and just incredible feats of strength.
That is incredible.
It's definitely reflected in her style of gameplay.
What a nice addition to the team is having that great strength. And we see a forearm call for Coops, I believe.
Coops, also known as Kelly Cooper. I know we see nicknames on some of the backs of the jerseys,
so
you go, what's that? But that's all right. Peaches and Creamia hot on the heels of Curb Stomps.
Who does have lead at the moment.
Yeah. And then we have Team Mass taking front of pack, keeping it slow. The jam is called, and on the last pass, 0 points picked up. Massachusetts is over the century mark. They're at 101, Saskatchewan at 27, and we have 8 minutes, 45 seconds remaining in this game.
I just want to revisit the last jam. One way blockers really help with strategy and gameplay is where they position themselves as those jammers reach the pack, as we saw. If Massachusetts had been behind Saskatchewan at that point, Curb could have likely picked up those 4 points, called it off, and that would have been it for Massachusetts.
Yes, and sometimes in front, because you have the ability to control the speed a little bit more, it's particularly advantageous.
And Nikki Fury looking to add another lead to her stats, and she gets it. Oh, does she? Oh, but she gets dragged back there.
The hip of Stone Cold Killer, dragging back, able to take her to the infield with some help from number 45. That would be Caliber. Team Mass's pivot.
Unfortunately, she got lead, but didn't get the momentum to go with it, and that's the jam. For some of the ladies on our team, this really is the first time they're playing together. There's a couple pickup skaters that had to join in for this tournament, especially because we traveled all the way from Canada. So it can be really tricky to to balance that, but it's really exciting to see everyone play together.
Yeah, and I had heard that on a previous game, I think it was Kentucky, they had only come together in a very short period of time, and that can happen, if you have some fallout as far as someone all of a sudden can't travel, last minute things happen. We understand, happens all the time in Derby. But it is great to see the turnout and Saskatchewan represented. Okay, looks
Trying
like
to get our blocking line in play here to stop Yeti or not, and Makilia gets through on her initial trip through the pack there.
5 points up for Yeti or not.
And Makilia's speed there at the end is what called off that jam, ultimately.
And I know that you mentioned how not everyone has had the opportunity to play together much. Something that's interesting with Team Massachusetts, there is a bit of a veteran core, but also when you look at the representation of leagues, we have several members of Team Massachusetts who are part of Boston Roller Derby's travel team, Boston Massacre, the current Division II WFTDA International Champions.
Wow.
So many of those skaters have worked together for quite some time. So it's interesting to see those bonds and then additional new bonds formed with people coming from other leagues.
And you've got Miss Ninja Warrior here.
Yes.
On the track blocking this time, so.
Well, she blocks, she's Gumby, and she jams. But guess what? There was a star pass to Bella LeBral, our red pivot.
Meanwhile, Pterodactyl, Block Nest Monster, Melcree trying to make things difficult there. Saskatchewan picks up 5 points rather, for their efforts. You get the 5th point if you lap that jammer there.
Yes, bringing you the beautiful thing called a Grand Slam.
La-di-da.
Yes.
There should be some sort of sound effect that goes with it.
It's a Grand Slam.
To go with the elegance and grace of roller derby.
Yes. All the elegance and grace of roller derby. I don't know who you're watching. You definitely weren't watching me when I played. No bones about it. Yep. Not graceful.
And for those at home, that is something. Both of your announcers actually played. Well, you just retired.
I just retired at the end of 2017, and you currently play as well.
Yes, just started. So look at that.
Yeah.
We'll switch there.
All of the journeys happening. But you know what else is great? The Jammer journey. They are neck and neck. That is Nikki Fury of Saskatchewan up against Peaches and Cremia of Team Massachusetts. So Mass with lead.
Yes, but Nikki right on her tail there. So
you got to love when the Jammers dole out a little aggression to the other Jammer.
And that is scoreless there, I believe.
Yes, 0-0. You are correct.
If you were watching from home, though, that pass there, the Massachusetts Jammer had her arms just ready because she wanted to get by and call off the jam, but didn't quite work that way.
Okay, let's see what we have going on. Okay, we have a power start for Saskatchewan.
This will be the first one, yeah.
Yeah, and at Jams and Peaches and Cremia had gone to the penalty box. This will leave Massachusetts at a disadvantage.
Yeah, especially with that very quick power start, because what you want to try to do there is hold that jammer as much as you can to burn out that time. But Curb managed to get by, and she manages to get by again.
And Saskatchewan's defense, by the way, sorry to cut you off, but it is worthy of noting that they've been
always cut me off for that.
holding Pena Colada and then taking her to the outside and down in turn 1. Just really a terrible trio, so to speak.
But are they ready now for the Massachusetts Jammer? They let her get through on that initial trip, so that's the game. But Curb picks up 5 points for her effort, bringing the total now for Saskatchewan to 42, Massachusetts at 106.
So 10 points on the power jam for Team Saskatchewan, bringing them up to 42.
And that was particularly helpful to Saskatchewan. 10 points. I believe that beats their previous high jam total of 9.
Exactly.
Yes.
If you're watching from home and Curb is jamming, try to watch the feet. Her footwork is just growing leaps and bounds. I know that's something she's been working on for a long time.
Home of the fancy feet. That's right. It is Battle of the All-Stars 2018. In your pack for Team Maz, that is Malice Paul, Bella LeBral, Kelly Cooper. And looks like we have Cosmo Kramer wearing the star for Team Mass.
And Makilia gets her first lead of the game. She's smiling. She's so happy about that. I know her parents are watching back home right now. and they're very proud. Her boyfriend as well. So
Hi, guys. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it. And that is a moment that, don't worry, it will be archived. So we can show her and say, look at this. You want to see pure joy? That's what pure joy looks like. Heading into Lucky Jam number 13. We have 2 minutes, 10 seconds remaining on the clock. 106 Massachusetts, 42 Saskatchewan.
and looks like we have a timeout to Team Massachusetts.
Sometimes you just need to take a few seconds
Just
and
need a little
breathe.
break. And of course, this is moving so fast, Banshee, because it's the abbreviated gameplay, only 30 minutes. We haven't really been seeing, though, a ton of penalties, which is great.
It
It's
is.
showing that people are using their skill and their ability over just hoping people get sent to the box.
Well, we know that in recent years, the focus has been less about big hits. You know, play smarter, not harder. You don't want to blow all the steam that you have just because you're deciding to go for big, silly hits. So, you know, especially at this level, it's great to see because, yes, there may be some teams that have a little less experience, but they're coming in with that nice, clean focus, and that is right on par with the higher level teams.
And for Team Saskatchewan, they have another game today. It's later on in the day. They're up against Michigan, and that will be 7:45 p.m. Local
Excellent.
time here, or 6:45 Saskatchewan time, as we like to call it, because we're kind of on our own little
Is that it?
thing.
Atlantic time?
No.
No.
Central
you
Standard Time.
Central
Yeah.
Standard. Okay. Sorry, bad at these things.
That's okay. We're used to it. Canada is like the land of time zones, so
Ah.
got 6 different kinds.
Oh, well, you know
All
what
right.
else?
Nikki Fury picks up lead again. She is having a stellar game so far.
And yet or not, trying to work past that Saskatchewan defense.
And Tara Lizer holding her up there at the end.
But it does appear that Nikki Fury able to have initially about a quarter lap advance on Yeti, but calls it off before any points go up for Mass. 2 for Saskatchewan, bringing them to 44.
And if you couldn't see it on camera, she gave a little fists in the air excitement. She's just happy because the last couple jams she's been scoreless, even when she got lead. So it's those little improvements. And I did ask the team what their big goal of the tournament was, and they said, we don't want to die. So anything above that.
I think that's
Great accomplishment.
I think that's a great base goal.
That doesn't mean they're afraid of hits. They actually want to
No.
get some big hits.
Oh,
but-
no. I know.
And now
the
she's
reason for
getting
that-
the crowd. Yeah.
coming right around every corner, and you take a look at her, she is grinning ear to ear because, again, skating is a happy place.
Skating is a happy place. I like that.
Yeah, it is a good day if I can have skates on my feet or talk about derby. So, you know, winning.
There you go.
Okay, 5 points up for Don't Let Me Down.
And curb stomping Coleshaw gets out of the pack. She did stash the helmet cover there, the star. She didn't have a pivot at the time, but Bellicose Blonde is now back on the track, trying to hang up the Massachusetts Jammer alongside Melkery and Loch Ness Monster.
Saskatchewan, their defense able to catch Lammy coming around turn 4 into the beginning of the straightaway, and they were not giving her up. They said, we've got you now. You're not going anywhere. So it appears we have our unofficial final 128 Team Massachusetts after that 22-point jam, 44 for Saskatchewan. And we're going to have our MVPs coming up soon and award them. We'll do some post-game coverage. We'll be able to talk with them, and that's pretty exciting.
Yes, I'm very, very much looking forward to chatting with the team after their very first game here at Battle of the All-Stars.
All right, we'll have that back for you in a moment. I'm Beautiful Banshee.
And I'm Death Nella.
Thank you. Banshee here with the New England Derby Report, and I am joined by Don't Let Me Down from Team Massachusetts. How are you feeling after that win?
Wonderful, Banshee. Thanks so much for interviewing me here.
Oh, well, you happen to receive your Most Valuable Player Award, chosen by the announcers here at Battle of the All-Stars 2018, and for quite the performance. What would you say is the key to your grace and light feet on the track?
That would probably be 3 years of collegiate synchronized swimming, Banshee.
Oh, I did not know that about you. I always find out, seriously, I learned so many cool things about the abilities of Lammy, Lammy at her, don't let me down, because you keep us on our toes. So thank you. That's pretty cool. And, oh.
I also go by the Laminator.
The Laminator. Oh, someone else said that too. The Laminator. So you may hear variations throughout the weekend just to keep you on your toes at home. What would you say is your favorite part of the Battle of the All-Stars experience?
Oh, well, apart from the beautiful vistas here in Hatfield, Pennsylvania, I would probably say the camaraderie. People are tremendously supportive. The Saskatchewan team gifted us with some treats from Canada, and several of us got Canadian flags. Last year we had the privilege to play Team Hawaii, who brought leis for us. People are very friendly and gregarious here.
That's awesome, and I'm going to have to talk to Dethnella about Saskatchewan if she can hook me up with any goodies as her co-announcer. We'll figure that out. Well, it has been a pleasure, and thank you so much for taking a moment to talk with me, and have a blast at the rest of the tournament.
Thank you, Banshee. Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad.
Hey, shouting out for Team Mass. This is Beautiful Banshee from Battle of the All-Stars 2018.
Welcome back. I'm Dethnella. I'm joined by Nikki Fury. She is Team Saskatchewan's MVP of the first game. So, Nikki, let's just talk about this moment right now, because you had some words for me over there. How exactly you're feeling about that performance?
Actually pretty shocked. I wasn't expecting to play this well. Yeah, it's really exciting, and I feel like I played one of the best games of my life, so.
And this is your first year on Team Saskatchewan. She came on as a development skater. This really is, though, a big moment for Canada. Saskatchewan being the first team here at Battle of the All-Stars. What does that moment mean for you right now?
I'm really pumped and pretty excited about that. Like, I'm really proud to be representing my country and my province, especially in such a large venue with everyone here. And like, some of my all-time favorite skaters are here, so this is really exciting.
And on that note, who is somebody you would like to meet here at the Battle of the All-Stars?
Well, Miss Team Maven, but I already met her, so I'm pretty good. Yeah.
And Miss Team Maven is actually coming out to do a boot camp with us soon, so that's a really big deal. Yeah. Anything else you'd like to say about your experience so far? The first game of the day, you have one more coming up today.
I'm really excited to keep playing, and hopefully I can improve on my performance as always. So,
and hi to Nikki's mom as well, who's watching.
Hi, Mom.
Thanks, and we'll be right back with more Battle of the All-Stars action.